In this video, I'm going to share you a perfect formula how to solve hard questions of PMP. Let's get very clear. PMP exam is all about solving question. I'm going to give you my 7-step formula of how you can solve hard questions of PMP. In addition to that, I'm going to share you how to do root cause analysis. And if you follow that, you can easily do PMP. The first most important thing in solving PMP question is time management. You have 230 minutes or 3 or 50 minutes to solve 180 questions. Now, many times students contact us that they were unable to manage the time. I have made a video and I will put a link on it, what to do on the last day, how to manage time management in detail. But for now, the exam is divided into 60, 60 and 60 questions. After 60 questions, you get a 10-minute break. After 60 questions, you get a 10-minute break, and your exam works in this way. How you can manage time? For the first section, I recommend 80 minutes. For the second section, I recommend 75 minutes. And for the next section, I recommend 75 minutes. This is my ideal time. Why I have given 5 minutes more in the first 60 question? The thing is that in the first 60 question, you are a little bit tense. You don't know, you are confused and things like that. Then you get into the flow and 75 minutes and 75 minutes. A very important thing to understand regarding time management in the PMP exam is that there is no negative marking in the exam. What does that mean? This means that if you make any question wrong, you don't have to worry about that. Why? They will not cut your answers. So I do recommend, like, let's say you are reaching at 75 minutes and you are reaching at 75 minutes, which means if the total timer was 230 minutes, you are at 155 minutes remaining. On the left side, the timer will be giving the time like 230, 229, 228 and things like that. So you are at 155 minutes remaining and you still have 10 questions left. What do I recommend? And this is very important. Read the last line and options. Read the last line and option and try to solve the question. Don't worry too much about just these 10 questions. Why? The important thing here to understand is that you have 120 questions after that. You have 120 questions after that. They will make or break. Even if you get all these 10 questions wrong, but if you solve last line and read the options, use elimination technique, you will not get those 10 questions wrong. But even if you get those 10 questions wrong, still you have time to get it back in 120 question. This is a very, very important thing in time management thing, that don't get adjusted or fixated that I want to get every question right. No. There's an old parable that the glass is half empty or half full. It does not matter. You are a project manager. Take the glass, drink the water. Try to get 70% of the question right and you clear the PMP. And then same goes when you go from 60 to after break 120 question. You must have 75 minutes for the last section. And if you are at a question number 1110 or 1115 and you only have 75 minutes remaining, read the last line option. Read the last line option. Hurry up. These 5 questions, these 10 questions does not matter that much. You still have 60 more questions and they are gonna make or break your exam anyway. So let's get this done. A very, very important thing for your PMP exam. There is no negative marking and you must complete all the question. This is very important to understand when you are solving the question. This is my first step on solving the question. Let's talk about the next one. अच्छा जी, आ जाओ, कोई बात में कट कर लूँगा. अच्छा, रिकॉर्डिंग चल रही है पेपर. 2 मिनट दे दो, 6 मिनट दे दो उसमें. Okay. So we discussed that the management of time is a very important thing and that becomes the number one thing, and that is why you must practice as many questions as possible. I do recommend that you join our coaching calls every Wednesday 8 p.m. UAE time. We have a coaching call live on YouTube. Okay, so do join that. The coaching call link for this week is given in the description. So do join the coaching call. So now how to solve the question, a very important thing. My formula for that is, number one, I do recommend that you read the last line first. Last line first. First read last line. Most of the words used in the last lines are something like this. What you should do next, what you should have done, how you could have avoided it. Whenever the question asks next, most of the time you need to update any documents. Those documents or plan, it can be plan, documents, raising the change request, updating issue log, things like that. So these last line actually helps you to understand the context of the question, what is being asked in the question. Do focus on the last line. Read the last line. Now the second thing. Now go back to the question. Read the question super slowly. Why I want you to read the question slowly? You see, when you read the question fast, you actually have to read the question again and again, which wastes time and you get panic. Read it slowly, make it your habit, practice it while doing the mocks, read it slowly, so that when you are reading, actually picture can start coming in your mind and you can understand, okay, how to solve this question. Read it slowly, understand the problem that is being asked in the question. Every single question, there are 180 questions. All 180 questions are actually nothing but problems that you have to solve. Identify what problem that you have to solve in this question. Read it slowly, read the last line, identify the problem. The next thing that we need to work is to that, identify keywords in the question. Keywords of the question, where are you in the questions? Like the keywords can be, you are in the agile project, you are in the hybrid project, an issue has been raised, a risk has occurred, things like that. So identify those keywords. What are those? Then the fifth and a very important thing that I do recommend is to identify in which process group are you. Are you in initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, or closing? And it's very easy to understand where do you stand. If you are updating the project charter, you are making a business case, assumption log, or you are updating a stakeholder register, you are in the initiation. If you are making some plans, you are in the planning, how to do. If an issue has raised, if you are working in something, you are in execution, managing conflict. If you are comparing or raising a change request, monitoring and control. And closing, as the name suggests, you are in the closing stage. You are accepting the deliverables, things like that. Then now go to the actually question and the most important thing, elimination technique. If you don't do any of those things, but if you can just do this one thing, you will get 80-90% of your questions right. Went through what each option, let's say A, B, C, D, there are 4 options. Go to every single option, identify why A is not right. You must justify that. You must have a justification why A is right or wrong. Then you go to option B. If you think this is the right answer, you must justify why this is right or wrong. This is the crust of elimination technique. Understand it, master it, why it is right or wrong. Then C, maybe it's wrong, why it is right or wrong. And you may have picked B as the right answer, but elimination technique demands you go to the next option. Now you went to the D option and you find D is the better answer. So A and C may be eliminated in the first go, and now you are left with B and D. Now justify why D is even a better answer than B and select your answer. If you follow elimination technique and practice it, you will get better at it, and that will become a most important thing for exam. 7th thing is, after doing the exam, root cause analysis. And you may have heard it from my students that I am talking about RCA, root cause analysis. Root cause analysis is a very, very important thing in my questions, and I do ask students to do RCA or root cause analysis in every single question. It is so important. I took a new sheet here. Root cause analysis. Now you have done the questions, you got right or wrong question. Go to every single question. Let's say question 1, you made it right. Please understand, you have to do root cause for both right as well as wrong question. Identify what lesson I learned from here. What one lesson or two lessons I learned from here. For example, there was a question that you are working in a functional organization, who is responsible to handle the resource. Now you learned it, functional manager is responsible. Put it in an Excel file. I don't recommend you put it on a notebook. I recommend it put in an Excel file. Why? When you put something in an Excel file, you can review it. When you write it down in diary and things like that, you can get lost it. If you have iPad or things like that, you can also write in it, but putting in Excel file works. Now that was for the right question. Let's say you did wrong questions. For the wrong question, go back to the topic, identify, see the answer, justification, why it was right or wrong, and put it in the lesson learned register. Now you are getting lesson learns for both right and for wrong. Once you do this, maybe even just you do 60, 1 or 2 things, your lessons will start getting better. If you follow the process, your work will start getting better. And if you follow these procedures, I'm gonna make sure, I'm 100% sure that you will be clearing PMP exam. So this is the powerful. This was my 7-step formula. Step 1, read the last line first. It will give you the context what is being asked. Then read the question to understand what is being asked, the entire word. And very important, when you are reading the question, slow down to understand the context of that. Identify keywords in the question. They can make or break your question. See, is it an initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, or closing? Then use elimination technique to solve every single question. A is right, why it is right. If it is wrong, why it is wrong. Have a justification. And then the most important thing, get a lesson learned from both right and wrong question. And if you do that, I'm sure you can become certified PMP in a very less time. Thank you very much.